Hi YouTube, my name is Nuzlocke King. I currently am playing the biggest Nuzlocke challenge on YouTube, and I am here today to show you how I smeared excrement all over my Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green Nuzlockes. Enjoy my shit, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay watching this, because I am the king of YouTube and soon everyone will know it. Enjoy.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
We start Pokemon Fire Red by seeing this cute Pikachu sprite over a text board, which brought me back to my childhood so hard I stopped stroking my cock. Haha, you wish.
Nerds.
Anyway, I high-five Professor Oak, name myself as a conqueror should, name my rival others, and move on into the world of Pokemon. I bull rush into the wild grass wanting to catch some Pokemon with my bare hands, but the soft Professor Samuel Oak stops me and brings me back to his lab. There I get my Bulbasaur and name him Bobby G, like I knew the performance he was about to put on. We all remember Brock, our first gym leader. I melt his rock types with some vine whips and move on to the next one. She is a woman in a swimsuit and her name is Misty. The water types she put in front of me were no match for my Ivysaur, so I get her number and the second badge.
Yay!
Then I do this for a while, take a night off to get drunk, and come back to face my nigga Lieutenant Surge. My faithful Rockava, well, a rock, magnitudes the shit out of him, then evolves into Graveler because his tiny body couldn't handle the size of his cock, and we go on further. My newly obtained Doduo beats the 4th gym leader, Erica, so the king now has 4 badges.
Yay!
The next major boss fight is against Rocket leader Giovanni in Team Rocket Hideout. Despite him being extremely cool, I am forced to mop the floor with him.
Sorry, bro.
Bobby G deletes Onyx and Rhyhorn, then uses a combination of Sleep Powder and Leech Seed to stall his Kangaskhan. Graveler finishes and evil is no more.
Yay!
Then I slap my rival around the Lavender Tower and save an old man from his asshole being defiled by hood rats. The real plot twist comes when he rewards me with a poke flute. Unsure what to think of it, I just bounce. I then use the flute to play Stairway to Heaven to the sleeping Snorlax, and the motherfucker gets so angry I was forced to run. Guess is more of a Fazlegia type guy.
Helicopter, helicopter!
Next gym leader is Koga, the true master of excrement. I taught my Venom off the Psychic TM from Mr. Psychic's house and used him to delete Koga's first 3.
Sorry, bro.
The Weezing is self-destruct, so I switch to my Onyx, use some Screeches to drop his defense, fail at murking him with rock throws, then go to Graveler for a finish. 5 badges.
Yay!
We are then forced to defeat evil in the Sylph Company, but not before practicing my dominance on my rival.
Sorry, bro.
The second Giovanni fight looked much the same as the first one, so, instead of bothering you with that, here is a short video of my beautiful country, Bosnia and Herzegovina. After our short virtual road trip, we move on to facing the psychic gym leader, Sabrina. Her Alakazam is the first dangerous Pokemon in this challenge. He is very fast and has high special attack, so he hits very hard, very fast. Luckily, I had specially defensive Snorlax on whom I slapped a TM for Shadow Ball, and that was all she wrote. I mean, she is an abstract interpretation of the omnipresent female spirit, sort of a virtual representation of embodied femininity which we all sense exists, and which Romans worship through goddess Venus, by whom the planet was named. You know, the goddess Venus. Huh? And just like that, we are again tasked by slapping old men around, and Blaine sure looks like he an old mofo, know what I mean.
Sorry, bro.
The fight was so one-sided I started looking like Blaine, so here's some old school Bosnian tunes to spice it up.
Uvijek sama, bol me slama, zar ću tako godinama?
Last up on the CH0 ping block is the failed El Chapo himself. I used the same advanced strategy as I used against Blaine and get my final Cantonian Gym badge.
Yay!
The last major fight before the Elite Four is against our rival, Others. I use Raichu to delete his Pidgeot, Bobby G to delete the Rhydon, Snorlax to delete Alakazam and execute, Omastar for Gyarados and Graveler for Charizard. All that is left is disposing of Victory Road, climbing the gates and cooking up my Elite Four team. Here is a list of 6 extremely attractive motherfuckers I chose for roughing up the Kanto Pokemon League. Number 1. W, the Primate with Cross Chop, Seismic Toss, Low Kick and Swagger. Number 2, Bobby G, the Venusaur, with Sleep Powder, Razor Leaf, Leech Seed, and Synthesis. Number 3, Omastar
Very good.
with Surf, Protect, Ice Beam, and Ancient Power. Number 4, Weezing
Great.
with Haze, Explosion, Sludge, and Toxic. Number 5, Snorlax
choice.
with Body Slam, Shadow Ball, Rest, and Protect. Number 6,
I'm
Porygon
gonna
with
go.
Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Recover, and Psybeam. First Elite Four member is Lorelei, the Ice-type master. I'm sorry for crashing the show, but I have to say that this bitch surely is fine. Damn, she's hot. Anyway, I use Primeape to cross-chop the lead Dugong. I use Swagger to confuse the Slowbro and land a seismic toss on him. That way Venusaur can come in and finish with one Razor Leaf. Snorlax chips down Lapras to low HP for Venusaur to finish. Shadow Ball Porygon then nukes the Jinx and finishes the Cloyster. Next Elite Four member is Bruno. I use Omastar to defeat the leading 2 Onix. I choose him because his rock typing would bait the other Onix out with Earthquake, which worked. Bobby G puts Hitmonchan to sleep and Leech Seeds him to death. He does the same to Hitmonlee, then tries repeating it on Macamp. Bruno heals the first time, but eventually I succeed. The third Elite Four members is Samuel Oaks X, Agatha, the Ghost-type master. I use Weezing to Shadow Ball the lead Jengar. I switch to Snorlax only to realize I forgot to teach it Shadow Ball too.
Sorry, bro.
Haunter then mean looks me, so I pay the ultimate price and my Snorlax die to his curse after killing him. Therefore, you should remember to
Always, always, always play around the critical hit.
Shut the hell up!
Omastar then Ice Beams the Golbat. I send out Primeape to Earthquake the Arbok. I fail at killing and then the snake nukes me so hard with Sludge Bomb I start seeing things. Omastar finishes and my Porygon manages to dodge a crit and delete Agatha's last Jengar.
Sorry, bro.
We all know the last Elite Fourth member, Lance, the Dragon Master. Looking extremely aura deficient, he starts with his Gyarados. Porygon deletes him with Thunderbolt, then Omastar uses Surf on the Aerodactyl for a kill. Bobby G deletes Dragonair with the old Sleep Powder into Leech Seed. Here Bobby G is tasked with living a potential wing attack crit and hitting Sleep Powder. I clench my asshole and pray to the Lord and Savior. Bobby G excels and is able to Leech Seed on the next turn. Porygon then cleans up the Dragonite and the following Dragonair with Ice Beam and we triumph.
Yay.
The final trainer is none other than our rival, Others, and how convenient. Knowing I have only 4 Pokemon left, I cooked up a strategy beforehand. I will set up the fight so that I sack my Weezing on the Alakazam, so Porygon can come up and use the HM move Flash that I taught him to drop the beast's accuracy before it deletes my whole team. If Alakazam crits and kills my Porygon on the first try, the game is over.
Sorry, bro.
So, let's dance. I try nuking his bird with Ancient Power Omastar. I do little damage, but get an Omni boost. He switches into Rhydon, so I surf his sorry ass back to the Safari Zone.
Sorry, bro.
This didn't hurt my strategy, since I planned on finishing Rhydon with Omastar anyway.
Yay.
Against the Executor I try using Porygon, but get hit so hard by Giga Drain I start regretting my decision. I switch to Venusaur, dodge Sleep with Chesto Berry, and then put his ass to sleep. Weezing then muscles his way through with Sludge. I then sacrifice him on the Alakazam.
Sorry, bro.
So far the plan is working.
Yay.
I send Porygon out. He keeps on missing so I keep landing flashes. I greed too hard, and am punished with a psychic hit just when I tried switching to Shadow Ball.
Sorry, bro.
I probably should have started using it immediately, but I was afraid of Alakazam hitting his psychic too easily and wiping the rest of my Pokemon. Porygon dies and I am left with Omastar and Bobby G. Here's the situation, as transparent as it can get. Others got Charizard, Pidgeot, and Gyarados in the back. I definitely need Omastar for Charizard and Pidgeot, so I have to use Bobby G here. That means Bobby G has to kill both Alakazam and Gyarados in order for me to win. If he gets hit by a Psychic, the game is over.
Sorry, bro.
I miss my first Sleep Powder, but he misses Psychic too.
Yay.
His second Psychic also misses.
Yay.
And I managed to hit this time.
Yay.
I use Leech Seed and 2 Giga Drains for the kill. That means I only have 1 Giga Drain left for the Gyarados.
Sorry, bro.
And this nigga has a lot of potions. Pidgeot comes, but Omastar removes him with 1 Ice Beam. Then it's Gyarados. Bobby G puts him to sleep and lands a Leech Seed. I decide to save my Synthesis PP by spamming Sleep Powder. And, before you say it, I know I should have had Razor Leaf or Solar Beam, but fuck it. I put him to sleep the second time and go for my last Giga Drain hoping for a kill. I fail.
Sorry, bro.
And he switches to Charizard just as I used Sleep Powder. I used the opportunity to Leech Seed to Charizard also. Omastar finishes the job but sadly gets burned.
Sorry, bro.
I know he will heal, so I go back to Venu and Sleep Powder. I proceed with my strat but end up burning my last Sleep Powder PP just before he heals again. I have nothing to do but spam synthesis. This brings me to struggling, and just before I finish him, rival heals again, so Bobby G dies on the battlefield, a true champion that he is. Omastar then comes in to collect the kill, and we become the champions of the Hoenn League.
Sorry, bro. Yay.
Our rival then accuses us of abusing sleep powder and leech seed.
Sorry, bro.
But we tell him he should subscribe to the channel before he continues slandering my genius and walk away to the Hall of Fame. But we all know that Pokemon Fire Red is not the end of Generation 3 Kanto Pokemon way, so we move on to beating our next challenge, Pokemon Leaf Green. Since we champed Venusaur 20 seconds ago, this time we choose Squirtle as our starter.
Yay.
For all of you that didn't check my last videos, you can find the rules of my Mega Challenge there, as well as the sheet of all the Pokemon I've champed so far. Anyway, Squirtle also deletes Brock pretty easily, and we move on to Misty. I use Pikachu from the Viridian Forest to delete Staryu, and my Wartortle's Bite to delete Starmie.
Sorry, bro.
2 badges. Against Lieutenant Surge, I bring out my Pikachu plus Dig strategy, which works against the starting 2. Against Raichu, I bring out the Big P and slice him up for the victory.
Sorry, bro.
Got 3, 5 to go.
Yay.
Next up is Erica. Doduo deletes the victory bell. Ninetales uses Flamethrower on Tangela and Vileplume, and we easily win the 4th badge.
Yay.
Against Giovanni and the Team Rocket Hideout, Wartortle deletes his 2 rock types, and then Ninetales Flamethrowers Kangaskhan to death. I use the same Venomoth Psychic strategy to delete Koga, absolutely slap around my rival and Giovanni in the Sylph Company, then hop into the gym to face Sabrina. This time I didn't have Snorlax, but I had something much more interesting. A gun. A knife. An empty paper bag I hand out to my opponent to distract him and then knock him the fuck out while wearing brass knuckles. It is Raichu with Hidden Power Ghost. For all of you that don't know, in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can get TM Hidden Power if you have a Meowth with the ability Pickup. To be exact, your Meowth has a 5% chance to pick this item up if you have him in your team. Also, and so I heard, if you feel lazy and don't want to grind for about 15 minutes to half an hour for it, you can always use completely legal tools like PK Hex and just hack it in. Just saying, not that I did it, you know? Anyway, Raichu topples Kadabra, Mr. Mime, and Venomoth, then Alakazam comes. I say fuck it and try landing a hidden power on him too, but Raichu gets nuked so hard I start doubting my abilities.
Sorry, bro.
I then set out Nineedles and he starts stacking up Calm Minds. At this point, I was about to shit myself. I use Confuse Ray and go to Blastoise. Blastoise almost kills with 2 bites, but the asshole lives on 1 HP and Sabrina heals.
Sorry, bro.
I then get gifted a victory.
Yay.
I send out Graveler for a potential Calm Mind into self-destruct, but she uses Future Sight twice, and the rock finishes with Magnitude. Close call, but 6 badges.
Yay.
Then come the Blaine and Giovanni fight, so I bring you all a graphic depiction of how they went, enhanced with a musical background.
Helicopter, helicopter.
We then easily murk our rival, beat the Elite Four, walk to the gates, then engage into a final cooking session of the region. The short session resulted in a squad of 6 elite fuckboys, and I demonstrate them to you, in order. Number 1, Wigglytuff, with Thunderbolt, Double Edge, Rest and Shadow Ball. Number 2, Dodrio, with Fly, Aerial Ace, Drill Peck and Return. Number 3, Parasect, with Spore, Giga Drain, Slash and Aromatherapy. Number 4, Ninetales, with Flamethrower, Confuse Ray, Hidden Power, and Will-O-Wisp. Number 5, Slowbro, with Surf, Psychic, Shadow Ball and Ice Beam. Number 6, Venomoth, with Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Psychic and Toxic. Against Lorelli, I use Wigglytuff to defeat the lead Dugong. I also equipped a Chesto Berry so I can rest on the Cloyster and delete him too. I land 1 Shadow Ball, then switch to my own Slowbro to finish with Shadow Balls. Against Lapras, I switch to Parsec for reasons that are currently unbeknownst to me, so I am forced to risk crit and hit the Sleep Powder with Venomoth.
Sorry, bro.
The Moth delivers, but Giga Drain does so little damage I contemplate using him as fishing bait next. I still decide to risk it dying and chip more with Giga Drain. When he gets Lapras to yellow, I switch to Wigglytuff to finish with Thunderbolt. Ninetales then finishes Jinx with Flamethrower and we are free to move on. Against Bruno, Venomoth Giga drains the Onix for a kill, and then Slowbro just deletes the rest of his Pokemon. The third member is Agatha. Slowbro psychics the lead Jengar. I switch and Venomoth on the Golbat like an idiot and get hit to half by Air Cutter. Ninetales flamethrowers the bat to death. Against Arbok, I switch to Venomoth to tank Sludge Bomb and bait Iron Tail. Slowbro tanks it and then finishes with Psychic. Wigglytuff with Chesto Berry fights the Jengar for a while. After the second Hypnosis lands, I put Slowbro in to try and bait Shadow Ball, but get Hypnosis on. Luckily, my Chesto Berry wakes me up, and 2 Drill Pecks finish him. I switch Slowbro on Haunter, but get put to sleep. Lumberry wakes him up and I finish with Psychic. The final member is Lance the Dragon Master. Wigglytuff uses Thunderbolt to delete Gyarados. Slowbro surfs the Aerodactyl, and then Parsec tries to defeat Dragonair. Lance switches into Dragonite. I go Ninetales. In my head, I thought Hidden Power Ice will do 1,000,000 damage and delete this thing. Instead, this happens.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, Wigglytuff deletes with Ice Beam, then does the same to the 2 Dragonair. We enter the final facility where our rival Others waits, all full of himself like they usually are. I approach his skinny ass, bend him over, and give him a wiggy in front of the Elite 4 Judges Commission. The crowd was in shock, so I flashed him my willy, put my Calvin Klein pants back on and got ready to devour his ass. Wigglytuff deletes his Pidgeot with Thunderbolt, Slowbro deletes Alakazam with some Shadow Balls, then nukes the Arcanine with Surf. Dodrio finishes Venusaur, then I sack Slowbro so Venomoth can come in and finish with Giga Drain. Venomoth then puts the Gyarados to sleep so Wigglytuff can finish with Thunderbolt and we once again become the champions of the Kanto League.
Yay.
We leave the rival Others there coping with his pants full of various ingredients, while Oak leads us into the Hall of Fame where we fucking belong. The Nuzlocke King once again submits his 6 sexy fuckboys for a ped check in the final room. But, as you know, this is not over. Subscribe to my channel, go watch my last videos, and be ready for the realization of the project future. See you soon in the next one. Stay black, boys.